Often on the show, we tell you about legalized corruption in the system, that there are many different ways that you can do that. You can do it through campaign donations. Another way you can do it is by offering jobs to staff members or to congressmen after they leave office. Well, a guy who should know a lot about this is Jack Abramoff. He was interviewed on 60 Minutes. Now, he got busted for doing some illegal actions, but what he's describing here really is not illegal at all. It's the legalized corruption that he's talking about that's endemic to the system. And boy, after you hear this, you see exactly how it all works. Let's go to clip 15.
When we would become friendly with an office and they were important to us, and the chief of staff was a competent person, I would say, or my staff would say to him or her at some point, you know, when you're done working on the Hill, we'd very much like you to consider coming to work for us. Now, the moment I said that to them, or any of our staff said that to them, that was it. We owned them. And what does that mean? Every request from our office, every request of our clients, everything that we want, they're going to do. And not only that, they're going to think of things we can't think of to do.
Exactly right. Exactly what we've been saying all along. And the problem isn't what's illegal, the problem is what is legal. He says, look, man, you're going to get paid later, okay? So you play ball, and maybe you can come work for us and make real money. And all of a sudden, they own them. How bad was it? How many congressional offices did they own? Let's talk about that.
First, I think most congressmen don't feel they're being bought. Most congressmen, I think, can, in their own mind, justify the system, rationalize. Yeah. And by the way, we wanted as lobbyists for them to feel that way.
By the way, that's another thing we always talk about, which is they don't go home and think, yeah, I'm going to take Abramoff's money and I'm going to get rich and I'm going to screw over my constituents or the people that I'm working for. No, they think, like, well, no, of course. But no, you know, that casino needed to pass for the good of my constituents. Yeah, that's the ticket. I'll totally convince myself. So how many of them did this? Let's watch.
How many congressional offices did you actually own?
We probably had very strong influence in 100 offices at a time.
Come on.
No.
100 offices?
In those days, I would view that as a failure, because at least 335 offices that we didn't have strong influence in.
Look, I don't want to get too sidetracked on this, but Leslie Stahl is a little unbearable. Like, you've been doing 60 Minutes for how many decades? And that's like a huge shock to you that lobbyists like Jack Abramoff come in and say, hey, we'll get you jobs afterwards, and then they get whatever they want? Did you not see any of the things that happened in Congress in the last 10 years, let alone all throughout the... How about Billy Townsend, who wrote a bill for the big drug companies, left office immediately, got $2 million from the drug companies per year because of the bill that he wrote? Did you miss that, Leslie Stahl? And so when he says 100, she's like, oh, it's not 100. It's 535, 435 in the Congress, 100 in the Senate. It's all of them. It's, you know, Chris Dodd, who's a Democrat, writing it before he leaves office. It's Evan Bayh, who's a Democrat. It's every Republican. They go and they say, how much do you want? You're going to get millions. And they say, of course, let me come up with ways to help you that you couldn't even imagine. That's what's wrong with the system. Legalized corruption. Abramoff explains just a little bit more how they did it now.
So what we did was we crafted language that was so obscure, so confusing, so uninformative, but so precise to change the U.S. Code.
Here's what you tried to get tacked on to this reform bill.
Yep.
Public Law 100-89 is amended by striking Section 207, paren, 101 stat, period, 668, 672, close paren.
Right. Now, isn't that obvious what that means? It was perfect. It was perfect.
So that's what you tried to get inserted.
Yes.
And that was going to provide for a casino.
Yes.
And who on earth is going to know that?
No one except the chairman of the committees.
Who stuck it in there.
Yes.
And that's one of the things you used to do.
Yes.
And it was deliberately written like that.
Precisely. Yes.
And that's done a lot.
Members don't read the bills.
That's done every single time. Leslie Stahl's like, really?
Seriously?
They don't read the bills and they stick it in there. Yeah, of course they stick it in there. We don't have a democracy anymore, man. Here, I'll give you one more example. A guy who used to work on Capitol Hill said that, and I've told this story before, every time that they went to go write a piece of legislation for the Dodd-Frank financial reform bill, they would erase this this obscure part of the legislation, and then it would pop back up at every version of the bill, new version of the bill. And they're like, why? Why does it keep popping back up when we have actively gotten rid of that provision in Congress? And he went and tried to trace it and figure out why. Turns out that every new version of the bill was written by the Fed. And that the Fed then went to the big banks who actually run the Fed and said, can you write this? So the bank lobbyists wrote every single version of the financial reform bill. That's why those obscure provisions kept popping back up, which actually gave billions of our money to the big banks. That's how it works.